Welcome to the show, the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. I'm Asif Body. This is a preview for the game that's happening on Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern. The Los Angeles Rams come to Lincoln Financial Field. Oh, Maron. Come on. Can't get much better than that on a divisional round matchup here. Woo! Listen, the Rams, guys, coming into Philadelphia, it's a big deal because, one, we get to host a playoff game, and two, we came off a playoff win, which is nice. But one more win, and we're in the conference title game, whether that be against a formidable opponent like the Commanders, who they would have to come to us if they somehow get the upset against the Detroit Lions, which many people doubt. I certainly doubt it, but you got to give credit to the Commanders. They've gotten to this point by nobody believing in them, essentially. Who knows what could happen on any given Sunday, right? Or in this case for them, any given Saturday. Am I right? I'm only kidding, guys. Listen, you're here for the preview of the Rams versus the Eagles. Why the matchups work, why the matchups don't, what my opinion is, what your opinions are, and what your thoughts are on this game coming up, okay? Because this is a really, really intriguing matchup. Probably the most intriguing matchup that we would have gotten out of all the NFC teams in the second round. Because this is the one team outside of Detroit that you could picture winning the conference and you not be surprised. Maybe you are. I certainly won't, because I think the Rams are a legit team. I think Stafford, when healthy and has all his guys, is a top 5 quarterback. I think McVay, outside of Andy Reid, there is no coach in the NFL that I would want more than Sean McVay. I think those two are electric. I think those two are fantastic football coach and quarterback pair. They're also 5-1 in the postseason together. So we cannot dismiss the Rams when they come into our building. And they're coming off a really huge win against what was a reeling Minnesota Vikings team, yes. But remember, they virtually had to go on the road too. They would have hosted the playoff game, but because of the terrible fires that are going on in LA, they had to move and go to Arizona, and the Vikings went to Arizona as opposed to LA. And still, the Rams gave them an ass whooping. Now listen, guys. As great as the Rams looked against the Vikings, are the Vikings the same team as the Philadelphia Eagles? Literally no, because one's the Vikings and one's the Eagles. But truly, in stylistic manner, they're not the same team at all. The Vikings are, yes, a high-powered offense with a quarterback who was playing excellent football, Sam Darnold, up to that point, and Coach McConnell, who I think is Coach of the Year. But the way they designed their offense is big chunk plays, long passes, nothing rhythm, no strong running game, nothing like that, albeit they have Aaron Jones. They're not a team that's built on, we're going to establish the run, work the play action, get the quick passing game going, and beat you up that way. No, they say, we got Jet, we got Addison, and Hawkinson. Good luck stopping this football going into their hands. And Sam Darnold, for the most part this year, has done a fine job doing that until he ran into the Rams and their front. And their front wreaked havoc on that Vikings offensive line, getting a total of, 9 sacks, I believe they got. It was one of the worst beatdowns that I have seen in my lifetime watching football. And I think there's a stat out there, out of all the quarterbacks who've played in the wild card round in terms of all the metrics, Sam Darnold's night was the worst night of all the quarterbacks who have played in the wild card round. It was an awful night for him. The Rams gave them the business. So we know, at least I know, hope now you do, that the Rams are legit. Matt Stafford, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I think in NFL history, this guy's passing record in the NFL, we're going to look that up right now. I think he's like number 5 of all time in terms of passing yards as a career. This man's career, he's got 59,000 yards passing. 59,809 with 377 touchdowns on a career. That's damn near Hall of Fame caliber numbers. And he has a Super Bowl title on top of that. Matt Stafford's the real deal. And I said it before. When he's healthy and his weapons are there, he can play like a top 5 quarterback with the play calling of Sean McVay. And when you add the running game that he has with Kyren Williams, who virtually had 1,300 yards on the ground and 14 touchdowns, they become a formidable offense. What makes the matchup so intriguing is the last time we saw this team play the Eagles, we ran it all over them. We ran it like 45 times. We had like 340 yards rushing. Saquon Barkley had 255. And we beat them 37-20. And at that point in the year, which was week 12, I said at that point in the year, Philadelphia, that game against the Rams, because that was right before that stretch where we played the Baltimore Ravens, I said that game was the most important game of our season. That game would define whether or not we are truly Super Bowl contenders or not. And in my opinion, after we saw the beatdown the Eagles gave them, it made us a Super Bowl contender. And now since then, people have decided to question the quarterback and question the offense, and rightfully so. I'm not going to say the offense has been absolutely stellar in Philadelphia. But what we have to consider is what this offense actually is and what it means for the rest of the conference here. Because we're not just playing against the opposing team's offense with our defense, which I believe is the best in the NFL, but it's our offense, particularly the Great Wall of Philly. Our offensive line is going up against the defensive line of the Los Angeles Rams. And in that matchup, I don't know about you, I trust the Great Wall of Philly. Their size, their speed, their athleticism, their explosiveness, everything about the Great Wall of Philly makes it one of the best units in the NFL, but it's also one of the best units we've seen as Eagle fans in our history. Coupling that with a running back like Saquon Barkley, who had 2,000 yards, and then Jalen Hurts, who is going to get another game under his belt after the 3-week hiatus he took due to a concussion, back for the second week in a row, getting used to running the offense again, running the ball, taking a hit, all that stuff. The massive size, pause, and resume, of the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is more than enough to overwhelm what the Rams could do physically at the point of attack. Now, the key matchup for the Rams is for them to be able to stop the run of Philadelphia. Are they able to go ahead and schematically find a way to stop the running game of Philadelphia? I'm going to say no. I don't know if there's anything the Rams can do unless it's totally sell out, putting 8-9 guys in the box to sell out against stopping Saquon Barkley. If you do that, though, then the next question you have to ask as the Rams is, do I trust my defensive backs to go one-on-one with the Transformer, A.J. Brown, or the skinny Batman and Devonta Smith, and leave the middle open one-on-one with Dallas Goedert? Am I willing to do that? That's the biggest question mark to me in this game. Are the Rams going to be willing to do that? Now, I know the Rams defense has played really well, especially the past month. The last 4 weeks, I'll look at their schedule right now. They've given up 6 points, 9 points, 9 points. In the last game, they virtually sat their starters. They gave up 25 against Seattle. But then they played the Vikings, who only scored 9 points. So in the last 4 games that really mattered to them, they have not given up 10 points. That's excellent no matter who you play. Now, granted, they did play the Niners. They did play, the New York Jets. They played the Arizona Cardinals, who are no slouch, by the way. They're a decent football team. Nonetheless, the Arizona Cardinals, And then they played the Vikings, who I think most people believed going into the playoff game after Detroit were going to turn back into pumpkins, because nobody ever really believes in the Vikings, unfortunately. So, again, it's not a surprising matchup that we have here. What's surprising is the play of the Rams defense, because they're a young unit, and their front with Brees, Verse, Young, all young guys. All of them are young guys, so they're going to be there for the next few years, and they're going to wreak havoc a lot in the NFC. However, the last time they went up against the Eagles front, it was not a pretty night. It was not a pretty sight at all. Now, Matt Stafford had a good night. I think he had like 278 yards or something like that. He had 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams had 81 yards and a touchdown, but their offense was really mucky. It was really muddy. Puka just came back that game. Cooper Kupp was there. He scored a touchdown, right? But overall, the Eagles' defense, once again, stopped an offense that was prolific. And all year, we've been seeing this Philadelphia Eagles defense take every quarterback that we've played since the bye week. We got to preference that since the bye week. No matter what style of play you've had, whether you're a run and gun team, whether you're a methodical team that uses play design to get open, whether you're a team that has a quarterback that's special in terms of extending plays and scrambling, whether you're a team that is a power team, that's a run-heavy first team, whatever you want to call yourself as a football team, Philadelphia has been able to match up with every quarterback and every type of offense you could imagine in the National Football League. The Rams are no different. We went up against them, and Matt Stafford, as great as he is, as much as I believe in his talent and his ability to throw the ball, as much as I believe he's a top 5 quarterback when healthy, he's going up against an Eagles defense that knows he is not going to extend plays. He's not a scrambler, and that is the one bugaboo, in my opinion, for the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Quarterbacks that can buy time, quarterbacks that can extend the plays, give Philadelphia a hard time, or if they get the ball out of their hands quickly, which is what the Rams will have to do in this game. Now, I wouldn't be afraid of the Rams receivers outside of Puka Nacua, and even then, I don't know if I'm going to be afraid of Puka Nacua, considering the fact that the Eagles' defensive line with Carter, Williams, Davis, Ojomo, Nolan Smith now, Josh Sweat on the other side. All these guys are playing excellent football on the front. They're really causing havoc at the point of attack. And if you can get a good push up the middle from Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, from the center guard center spot, from the guard center guard spot, of the Rams, it's going to be a long night for Matt Stafford. Now, the last time we played them, that's what we did. And we won that matchup. Can we do it again? That's the next question. Can we do it again? Because this is going to be a better Rams team than we played in Week 12. No doubt about it. They have tape on us. They have time to prepare. They're going to come in trying to fire. It's going to be a different game. But the great equalizer in any playoff game, when things are in the balance, when things are nip and tuck, and when teams are virtually even in terms of strengths, weaknesses, and matchups, because I think this Rams game is going to be really tough, it's the home field crowd. The fact that we're in Philly, the fact that the Rams have to travel to Philadelphia, albeit not a long travel coming from Arizona, the fact that they're not going to be able to sit comfortably and be pretty like they are, because the Rams are a pretty team. They're a beautifully talented team, offensively designed. Like, I don't mean that as a connotation of them being soft. I mean that in terms of like the design of the plays, how it looks, how smoothly they run. It's a beautiful offense. In Philadelphia, and the way the Eagles play, they muck up every game plan that you got. You gotta be absolutely comfortable with getting dirty. Philadelphia, with their run game, with their offensive line, with their defense, and the fact that the passing game hasn't been prolific all year, are totally comfortable with beating you in a game 18-12, 10-6. They don't care how they win. as long as they can impose their will and beat you up when the ball is snapped. And they showed that against Green Bay, how physical they can be, especially in a playoff atmosphere at home. And now I know they're missing key starters on the defensive side of the ball. I know they're missing Nakobe Dean, and that's going to hurt. That may hurt us more in the next round if we win this game versus the Rams. But one thing's for sure, guys. This is going to be one hell of a game. And I'm going to put money on this game. I think Philadelphia against the Rams on Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern time are going to win. I know the line is set at 6 points right now. I think that might be a fair line. But again, I respect the Rams. I think they're a really good football team. And I don't want to disrespect Matt Stafford in the playoffs because he is a playoff performer. Don't get it twisted. Despite his history in Detroit, he has a really good playoff record. And like I said at the top of the show, with Sean McVay, those two guys together as a tandem are 5-1 with a Super Bowl title under their belt. The one loss came to Detroit last season, and that game went down to the wire. So the Rams are no joke at all. They're going to come to play, and they're going to give us everything that we want to have, okay? It's not going to be an easy game. I'm looking at the line right now. I'm pulling up this game on my phone. Forgive me for not having it at the realm. Okay, FanDuel has the line at 6.5. I'm taking that because it was set at 6 earlier, and they're already moving it up. I'm assuming because of the weather that's going to be happening on Sunday. I'm sure it's going to be cold. I don't know if it's snowing. I don't know if it's raining. But regardless of what's going to happen on that day, Rams at 6.5, that's a pretty good line. I'm going to take the Eagles' money line in that game, and I think Jalen Hurts against the Rams is going to be asked to throw the ball. I think they're going to try to sell out against the run, and they're going to try to prove to you that Jalen Hurts can beat us throwing the ball. They're going to say, prove it to us. Go ahead and do it. And with A.J. Brown, after his inner excellence moment with reading a book on the sideline, which I objectively thought was funny, and you got Smitty, and you have Goedert, and you have Barkley, and you got this offense, and everybody in the NFL, including Eagle fans, questioning whether or not our quarterback is even competent. And also the fact I'm listening to Eagle fans talk about Jalen Hurts and criticize the fact that he threw 2 touchdown passes last week. And they're like, oh, the first one, it took too long to develop, and the second one was not the perfect ball. Geez, I'm sorry. Last time I checked, those 2 passes got in the end zone, whether it was a catch and run or if it did take forever to set up and he had all the time in the world. He found the open man and hit the guy in the chest. What do you want him to do? I digress. Point being is, I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I think they're going to win 24-20. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have 3 touchdowns in this game. 2 in the air, 1 on the ground. Barkley's going to get 105 yards on the ground. He'll probably get another 20 or 30 from the passing game. And A.J. Brown is going to hit the century mark. And all will be happy going into whether it is Detroit or staying at home against the Commanders. But one thing's for damn sure. We are going to be in for an excellent football game. So, I ask you all, do you believe the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this game? If so, drop your comments below. Give me your prediction in the comments section below, okay? Because I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are about this ball game, because I think it's going to be the best game outside of Buffalo and the Ravens. This is going to be the game that everyone's going to want to tune in for. It's going to be the best matchup. It's the tightest matchup. And quite frankly, for us Eagle fans, it's really the only game that matters. Because if we lose this game, there's going to be a lot of questions in Philadelphia. But I don't anticipate it. I think we end the Los Angeles Rams season this Sunday at 3 o'clock. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby! Let's play ball. Hey! Thank you so much for watching the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. If you want to continue to support the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Riding the Bench Eagles Pod. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're on there. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us next time here at the Riding the Bench Eagles Podcast.